Okay, students, today we are going to study what are those theories of international trade by which a country will be able to decide in which product it has to specialize in order to trade in international market. So basically these theories will decide about the national specialization of a country, how a country will be able to export the goods when it is going to adopt national specialization. Every country is producing many of the goods and services, but in which product it will have the specialization to sell those goods in international market. These theories are developed in order to explain the national specialization, and on the basis of national specialization international trade will be emerging and it will be having more benefits to the countries who are involved in international trade. That's why we use these theories. The first theory, which is called absolute advantage theory. Basically, what is the meaning of absolute? Absolute means what? Complete. When a country has complete advantage in the production of one good over another country, then we say this country is having absolute advantage and it should specialize in the production of that commodity in which it has absolute advantage in its production. And if a country is having absolute disadvantage, it is better for that country to import the product in which it has absolute disadvantage rather than to put in resources and waste them, and it is not able to produce more of that commodity within its own given resources. So absolute advantage will tell us how a country is able to produce more of a good by utilizing the same number of resources or factors of production. If a country is able to produce more output by using the same number of labor working hours than another country, then we say this country is going to have absolute advantage in its production. Whereas the comparative advantage will tell us about, it tells us about the comparatively in which product a country is better off than another country. So we will look upon the opportunity cost of each product which is produced by a country. If a country is having lower opportunity cost to produce a product than another country, definitely it should specialize. It is comparatively better in its production where opportunity cost is lower. So a country will be preferred to have specialization on that commodity where it has lower opportunity cost to produce rather than to look at the absolute advantage in that product. So we are going in detail about these two theories. So first of all, I am going to explain you what is meant by absolute advantage theory. So absolute means complete. Complete advantage. Absolute means complete. When a country is able to produce more of a good, more quantity of a good, by employing less resources than another country, it will enjoy the absolute advantage in that product. It will enjoy absolute advantage in its production. Absolute advantage in its production. Okay. And if a country is able to produce less quantity by applying more resources in the production of that commodity, so in that area it will be having absolute disadvantage. So we have to look upon what is the absolute advantage of the countries, and then they will be specializing according to their absolute advantage. Now take the example of the two countries like Indonesia and Brazil. Indonesia is better in the production of rice. There are the two goods which both the countries are producing, rice and coffee. Indonesia is able to produce more rice than coffee. Okay, whereas Brazil able to produce less rice than coffee. So we can see over here, if we see, now both the countries, they are producing the two commodities, one is called rice and another is called coffee. But Indonesia is able to produce more rice than coffee. In other words, when the same resources are employed in the production of rice in Indonesia, it is able to produce 500 tons of rice, whereas it is unable to produce the same quantity by the same resources in the production of coffee. So in absolute terms, Indonesia is able to produce more coffee than Brazil. Indonesia is able to produce more rice than Brazil, because when Brazil is employing the resources, the factors of production and labor capital, that country is able to produce only 200 tons of rice, whereas the same number of resources they will be able to produce 500 tons of coffee. So we see over here, Indonesia is having absolute advantage in the production of rice. Okay, it has absolute advantage in the production of rice, whereas Brazil is having more absolute advantage in the production of coffee. The two goods which they were producing, keep in mind we are having the two countries which are producing these two types of goods, and we assume something that their opportunity costs, they are same, they are constant, like we are using PPC where we have a straight line PPC which shows us the constant opportunity cost curve, and by using that PPC we will be explaining the absolute advantage theory. Now if we draw the opportunity cost curves or production possibility curves of the two countries, I am taking rice over here, rice, and here I am taking coffee. So Indonesia is able to produce more rice. So we say this is the PPC where they are able to produce 500 of rice, 500 tons, and they are able to produce 200 tons of coffee. Can I say when all the resources they are employed on the production of rice in Indonesia, this is the PPC which is a straight line with this constant opportunity cost curve. I am not drawing the increasing opportunity cost curve, but here we are assuming that their opportunity cost in terms of both the goods that remains constant. This is constant opportunity cost curve. So we see over here, if Indonesia is employing all the resources in the production of rice, that's able to produce 500 tons of rice. And whereas if it produces all the coffee, it will be able to produce 200 tons. So when it gives up 1 unit of coffee, how many units of rice will be produced? 2.5. 2.5 tons of rice will be produced by giving up 1 unit of coffee, or if it has to sacrifice 2.5 units of rice in order to get 1 unit of coffee. This is the opportunity cost, the constant opportunity cost which I have explained to you. So this country, if it employs half of the resources in the production of these two goods, there will be 100 units of coffee or 250 units of rice, tons of rice. So it will remain along its own PPC. So when it is not involved in international trade, or it is not going to adopt specialization at national level, it will remain to produce along its own PPC, and it will be consuming and producing along its own PPC. It is not going to have more living standard when it is not going to trade with other countries. Okay, this is the PPC of Indonesia. Now I am going to draw the PPC of Brazil within the same axis. Okay, this is Indonesia's PPC. Okay, now I am going to have 500 units of coffee in Brazil, whereas 200 units of rice in Brazil. This is Brazil's PPC. Okay. Now this country is going to have more absolute advantage in the production of coffee rather than rice. It has to sacrifice 1 unit of rice in order to produce 2.5 units of coffee. You can say if 1 ton of rice is given up, in Brazil it is able to produce 2.5 tons of coffee according to this opportunity cost curve. So these PPCs are showing us that Indonesia is having absolute advantage in the production of what we say rice, whereas Brazil is having absolute advantage in the production of coffee. So both the countries, they will stop producing the other item where they are having absolute disadvantage, and they will be involved in international trade in order to exchange the goods in which they are having national specialization. Therefore, according to this figure, if you look upon the world production total output of the two goods which are produced, here 700 tons are produced for rice. If both the countries are not specializing, the world production of these two countries will remain 700 tons and 700 tons of coffee as well. But once they are going to specialize, Indonesia will stop producing coffee and it will be focusing on the production of only rice. So it will stop allocating resources in the production of coffee, and all the resources, when they are employed to produce rice, it will be able to produce 1000 tons of rice. So when a country specializes, its productivity will increase and its production level will increase. So same will happen. Brazil will not be producing rice and it is focusing on the production of only the coffee. So now the countries, they have specialized, they have adopted their specialization area in the product in which they are going to have absolute advantage. Now you can see after specialization, the world production has increased. Previously, both countries collectively, they were producing only 700 units if they were allocating resources. Now after specialization, the world production has increased. So absolute advantage tells us when a country is able to produce more units of output by employing the same resources or by employing less of the resources in the production of that commodity. So if it is having more production than another country, so we say it is enjoying the absolute advantage. So it should go for national specialization in the area where it has the absolute advantage, and whatever the surplus it is going to produce, that can be traded with the country where that is going to have absolute disadvantage. Like Brazil is having absolute disadvantage in the production of rice. So Brazil will be importing rice from Indonesia, and whereas Indonesia will be buying coffee from Brazil, then both the countries will be benefited due to their national specialization, and trade between them will also be increasing due to their national specialization. Okay, now why country is going to export? Why country exports the goods? If I say this is going to rice market, this is the price of rice. In Indonesia, we see Rice price is this much. This is the domestic price of rice. Okay. So when world price is higher than the domestic price, there is an incentive to sell the product more in international market, have the specialization in that product and then sell it. So this volume can be the export. So after specialization, when world price is higher than the domestic price, so definitely this country will be specializing and it will be able to enjoy the national specialization, and their consumption possibilities will also be increasing and the living standard will also be going to rise. Okay, how a country will be importing the goods when world price, what is the world price? International price, this we say, this is the domestic price of coffee. If I say domestic price of coffee in Indonesia is higher and the world price, international price of coffee, that is lower than the domestic price of coffee in Indonesia. So in that case, this will be the volume of import of coffee. So we see, if a country is going to have more cost of production in the area of coffee, Indonesia is having more price in domestic market, so world price is lower than that. So as a result, it is beneficial for Indonesia to import coffee rather to allocate resources in the production of coffee where it has absolute disadvantage. And it is better for Indonesia to export rice because here the international prices or world price is higher than its domestic market price. Then both the countries, they will be benefited due to international trade and specialization. Keeping in mind this absolute advantage theory that was given by classical economist Adam Smith, and he gave this theory about the absolute advantage and how countries will be specializing in the area where they enjoy absolute advantage. Now come towards the comparative advantage theory. What is meant by comparative advantage? So what is comparative advantage theory? This theory was given by David Ricardo, and one interesting thing about him is that he was the follower of Adam Smith. He was the follower of his own teacher, and he deviated in the teachings of absolute advantage. He argued that if one country is enjoying absolute advantage in both the goods, that shows this country is self-sufficient. It does not require any trade with other country. Okay? If I take the example, like here I am taking now rice on the upper side and coffee. Taking both the countries, here I am taking Indonesia and here I am taking Brazil. So if Indonesia is able to produce 100 tons of rice and we should take over here 250 tons of rice and 500 tons of coffee, but Brazil is able to produce 100 tons of rice or 400 tons of coffee. If we look at these figures, according to absolute advantage theory, Indonesia is enjoying absolute advantage in both the goods, rice and coffee. It is self-sufficient. It does not require trade with Brazil because it is already producing more of both the goods like rice and coffee. Production is in more quantity by applying the resources or the factors of production than Brazil. So Brazil on the other hand is having absolute disadvantage in both the coasts. So according to absolute advantage theory, can we say Indonesia does not want to trade with Brazil because it is self-sufficient, it is having absolute advantage in both the coasts. But this is not the case. Still countries are trading with each other not on the basis of absolute advantage but on the basis of comparative advantage. So comparative advantage means if a country has lower opportunity cost to produce a good than another country. So it will enjoy comparative advantage. Okay. Now if we look at the ratio, like here Indonesia and Brazil, what is the ratio between these two countries? 1 and 2 and 1 and 4. These are their ratios. If I draw their PPCs in the lower area, here I am taking rice and coffee. I should take coffee on this axis, coffee and rice. 250 rice and 500 tons of coffee, whereas 250 tons of rice. Whereas the other country is going to have 100 and 400. So if you see, both the countries, they are having it should be a straight line PPC. So both the countries are having different opportunity costs. PPC of Indonesia is lying over the PPC of Brazil. This is Brazil's PPC and this is Indonesia's PPC. So according to absolute advantage, Indonesia is having absolute advantage, but comparatively, which country is better? Now I am going to explain you the ratios. If we look at the PPC of Indonesia first of all, there is an opportunity cost. If it gives up 1 ton of rice, it is able to produce 2 tons of coffee by employing the resources. So Indonesia is 2 times better in the production of coffee in its own resources. So if it gives up 1 ton of rice, it is able to produce 2 tons of coffee. Or in other words, if it gives up half ton of rice, it will be able to produce 1 ton of coffee. Comparatively, Indonesia is better in the production of coffee than rice. Can I say, if it gives up 2 tons of coffee, it will be able to produce 1 ton of rice. So its opportunity cost to produce rice will be high as far as its own factors of production are concerned and its opportunity costs are concerned. Now look at the ratios of Brazil. If it gives up 1 ton of rice in its own resources, so it is able to produce 4 tons of coffee. It is 4 times better in the production of coffee than Indonesia. Indonesia was 2 times better in the production of coffee. Can I say the opportunity cost, if I say what is the opportunity cost, rice and coffee, here the opportunity cost is half ton of rice to have 1 ton of coffee, or 0.25. How to get 25? 1 over 4. Here it is 1 over 2. 0.25 of rice of coffee is given up to produce 1 ton of can I say Brazil, here it is Indonesia and here I am taking Brazil. Brazil is having lower opportunity cost. It has to sacrifice only 0.25 ton of rice to produce 1 ton of coffee. Then Indonesia, in Indonesia, it has to give up 0.5 tons of rice to produce coffee. So can I say Brazil is having comparative advantage in the production of coffee because its opportunity cost to produce coffee is lower than Indonesia. This is the main point. Although in absolute terms Indonesia is better off, but if we look at the opportunity cost ratio, so Brazil is going to have 0.25 tons of rice which is given up to produce 1 ton of coffee. So we say Brazil is going to have lower opportunity cost to produce coffee, whereas Indonesia is having higher opportunity cost to produce 1 ton of coffee. Therefore, Brazil should specialize in the production of coffee rather than rice. Okay, now look at the other specialization. If we look here about rice, Brazil has to give up 4 tons of coffee to produce 1 ton of rice. Very high opportunity cost. As compared to Indonesia, Indonesia has to give up 2 tons of coffee to produce 1 ton of rice. So in case of rice, Indonesia is comparatively better than Brazil. Therefore, Indonesia will specialize in the production of rice, whereas Brazil will specialize in the production of. So if you see over here, before specialization, this was the total production of the world of rice, that is 350 tons. Before specialization, world production of rice of these two countries was only 350 tons and it was 900 tons of coffee. Now after specialization, the production of rice by Brazil, that will be increasing to, you can say, 500 tons, and it will stop producing coffee, and now Brazil will stop producing rice and there will be increase in production of coffee. So world production of both the goods will be increasing after specialization, not on the basis of absolute advantage but on the basis of comparative advantage the two countries are enjoying. Comparative advantage is that area where a country is going to have lower opportunity cost to produce than another country, and comparative disadvantage is the area where a country is having higher opportunity cost to produce the same commodity than another country. So according to David Ricardo, even the countries are having absolute advantage in both the goods, it will be specializing in that area where it has comparative advantage rather than absolute advantage. It should be having lower opportunity cost to produce a product than another country, then it will be specialization. So the national specialization will be promoted on the basis of comparative advantage rather than absolute advantage, and then countries will be involved in international trade and they will be benefited and they will be enjoying a higher living standard when they are involved in international trade. Their living standard will also be improving when they are enjoying more goods and services beyond their PPC due to international trade. I will explain them in tomorrow's lesson in terms of trade. Remember these figures till tomorrow. I will be going through from these figures in order to explain you trading possibility curve of the two countries and how are they going to decide about their pricing ratio. What will be their pricing ratio in international market in order to exchange the goods and services. So wait till tomorrow and go through this topic and practice it at home. Go through from your own knowledge, from your internet sources or from your own book. I am quoting the figures very easily which could be used in order to explain these things. So if you are able to explain them by yourself, write them a good note and see whether your comparative advantage is coming on the same line as you are explained by using the opportunity cost, and then decide the specialization of the countries. Thank you very much for today.